the headlines, major expansion announced for the QEH. Police wreck of car theft operation, 3 youths arrested and charged. The Oistins oil spill cleanup nearing an end. And in sports, the Windies women end their losing streak with victory over South Africa in today's first ODI.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening and welcome. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tisha Hines with the details to the news. Major expansion of the physical structure at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital is on the way. This is coming from Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley. She says a Chinese company has won the procurement process to carry out the expansion works. Prime Minister Motley made the announcement while speaking at the official opening of the Bayview Urgent Care 24/7 facilities at Bayville St. Michael, where she said the construction works will result in the hospital's capacity being expanded by 40%.
That being the largest expansion of the QEH since its construction. The Minister of Health will make a ministerial statement in Parliament to give the details of that expansion in the near future. But suffice it to say that the combined investment with the construction of 2 new polyclinics and the significant expansion of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, plus the upgrade of existing polyclinics, plus the commitment to purchase over $140 million in equipment for the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, the first tranche of which has already started, is a testimony to the extent that the government is committed to upgrading the quality of health care in Barbados for Barbadians and to ensure that it remains one of the key considerations for the quality of life of our people.
Prime Minister Motley also announced that the construction of the facility to accommodate the linear accelerator machine for cancer treatment at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital will be completed within a matter of weeks.
After that, the commissioning of the equipment and the training of the persons will take place, and I therefore anticipate that well before the end of this calendar year, that Barbadian cancer patients should be able to benefit from that facility at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and look forward, I'm told, that within 6 months or so, the PET CT scan machine will also be available at this hospital.
Bayview Urgent Care is a technologically advanced facility featuring a 24-hour on-site laboratory, ambulance services, and additional operating theatre and diagnostic radiology services, including a new computerized tomography scanner and an X-ray machine. Prime Minister Motley says the new facilities will help to improve the delivery of health care on the island.
I want to congratulate the board and owners of Bayview Hospital. I want to urge the Ministry of Health to work along with the owners and operators of this hospital to finish the public-private partnership. The Ministry of Finance has made it a condition of our concessions, and I look forward to the country and the patients of the country benefiting from us working together to be able to reduce the unit costs that you will face in accessing and purchasing from therapeutics to equipment to services.
In a major breakthrough this evening, we're reporting that local police have smashed a stolen car operation. They've arrested and charged 3 St. Michael men, 2 of them 21 years old, the other just 18. They are Adam Brendan Kelman of Stewart Lodge, Tweedside Road, DeVere Adrian Jr. Bridgman of Glenderry Gap, Station Hill, and teenager Xavier Zaliko Joseph of Halls Road, Main Road. All 3 are jointly charged with theft of 4 cars between February 25th and May 11th, belonging to Jennifer Breedy, Margaret Cutting, Arleandra Hines Edwards, and Alistair Clark. They're also charged separately with other offences. Kelman is charged with theft of a motorcycle belonging to Angeline Marshall last month. He is also jointly charged with Joseph with the theft of a car belonging to Brad Stephen. Both Kelman and Bridgman are jointly charged with theft of a car belonging to Kyle Eiffel. Bridgman and Joseph are charged with theft of a motor car belonging to Wayne Grimes on September 14, 2024, and taking conveyance of a motor car belonging to Darlene Small on May 28, 2025. Bridgman is separately charged with theft of 2 cars and criminal damage. Kelman and Bridgman have been remanded to Barbados Prison Service Dodds to reappear in the district's D, B, and C courts on June 17th. Joseph, however, was granted $10,000 bail with 1 surety and will reappear in court on July 8th. A murder investigation is underway with the death of a man who was stabbed at the weekend. Neil Oscar Lane, 41 years, of Rihanna Drive, Westbury Road, St. Michael, died at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital after a stabbing incident on Sunday night. According to the Barbados Police Service, its Operation Control Center received a report on Sunday around 10:05 p.m. that a male had collapsed in a house at the corner of Blanche Gap and Rihanna Drive, Westbury Road, St. Michael. On arrival, police learned that the deceased was involved in an altercation with another man and received multiple stab wounds about his body. Lane was transported by ambulance personnel to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, where he was treated for his injuries. He, however, passed away on Tuesday evening. Police say there's a person of interest in custody assisting with the investigations. The Barbados Police Service is appealing to anyone who can provide any information pertaining to this incident to contact the police emergency at 211, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477 or 1-800-TIPS, or call any police station. Barbados is moving with pace to strengthen its mental health legislation. This is necessary to tackle the reported mental health crisis, with a significant rise in anxiety, depression and stress, particularly among young people. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Kenneth George made the announcement while delivering remarks at the Caribbean Regional Conference of Psychology at the Accra Beach Hotel and Spa. Our Anesta Henry has that report.
Barbados has recorded a 100% increase in the number of individuals seeking psychological and mental health services during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. Chief Medical Officer, the Most Honorable Dr. Kenneth George says, even though exact figures are unavailable, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is taking steps to prevent this issue from spiraling out of control. And improved legislation is one key strategy.
The Ministry of Health is in its advanced stages of developing new and improved mental health legislation, which is grounded in a community-based and human rights approach. External consultations have been completed, and your society was part of the process.
Addressing the conference, Acting Prime Minister Santia Bradshaw said, according to the Pan American Health Organization, approximately 10 to 15% of the Caribbean population experiences mental health disorders, with depression and anxiety among the most common conditions. She added that it is also a fact that suicide rates in some Caribbean countries exceeds the global average, underscoring the importance of collective action.
Among our youth, the situation is equally concerning. Studies estimate that up to 20% of Caribbean young people experience mental health challenges, including depression, anxiety, and behavioral disorders. Yet many remain undiagnosed, some remain misdiagnosed or supported due to the stigma and the gaps in the delivery of services. The COVID-19 pandemic only deepened these challenges. With increases in anxiety, in loneliness, and academic stress reported across the entire Caribbean.
The conference themed Caribbean Psychology Building Mental Health Resiliencies, Empowering Our Communities, is organized by the Caribbean Alliance of National Psychological Associations. President Dr. Khatija Khan says the theme is urgent and relevant.
Because in a region rich with culture, complex histories and unique social realities, our psychological science must do more than reflect the world. It must reshape it. It must speak in our voices. It must be grounded in our context, and it must rise to meet the realities of our people.
The conference seeks to showcase innovative approaches, best practices, and other research findings aimed at empowering communities. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
As Barbados continues to deal with the vagaries of climate change, government has instituted a number of plans and programs to reduce pollution both on land and the marine space. And with the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season in swing, measures have been taken to ensure there is not a repeat of last year in the event of any weather system. Rachel Agard attended the launch of World Environment Month today, and she files this report.
With 600,000 trees planted since the inception of the Million Tree Project, Barbadians are being asked to play their part to ensure Barbados remains clean and reduce instances of littering. Already, government has passed legislation that can see perpetrators fined up to $20,000 if found to be guilty.
Stop littering. Stop illegal dumping. Stop putting chemicals in our gullies. Stop doing those harmful things that will destroy that which will protect not only us in this generation, but our children and our children's children. We must not leave it to them to be the champions of this fight. It must start from each one of us. And these are basic things that we can do.
With this year's Atlantic hurricane season underway and predicted to be as active as 2024, the Barbados Fisheries Division is leaving no stone unturned to ensure the fishing fleet is protected. As part of hurricane preparedness, a fishing vessel relocation plan has been implemented with the assistance of new Dockmaster MacAndrew Otley, the Barbados Port Inc. and Dockmaster at Port St. Charles, Alan Burkitt.
To make sure that we have designated spaces for the vessels to go if there is a severe weather system approaching. So we have these harbors designated, so the shallow draft where we can accommodate about 70 boats, the careenage, which is dependent on availability but could accommodate a maximum of 40, and then Port St. Charles is willing to accommodate about 20, and this will be for vessels that are not insured. Port Ferdinand will accommodate insured vessels.
Meanwhile, the Coastal Zone Management Unit continues with its $50 million project, the Climate Resilient and Sustainable Integrated Coastal Management Project. This will ensure 5 sites along the island's coast receive necessary shoreline stabilization against coastline hazards, including storm surge and wave impacts.
3 on the west coast, this would be Shermans, or I think some of you know as Clinkets, and then further to the south of that would be Sand Street, the old road, Spicestone Road. Then between Mullins and the place called St. Peter's Bay, that's also still in St. Peter. As you come over onto Oistins, again partnering with our fisheries partners to do some work to make Oistins and the Bay Gardens on the seaside more resilient. Some beach work there. So most of this work is engineering, coastal work, sand, nourishment, coastal structures and the like. And then an extension of the existing Richard Haynes Boardwalk to the east to St. Lawrence Gap.
Activities for World Environment Month, which coincides with Fisher Folk Month, include the Harmony and Nature Sustainable Development Art Exhibition and a Climate Smart Compliant Workshop. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
The end is almost in sight for the oil cleanup at Oistins. Employees of the drainage unit were again working feverishly on day 6 of the cleanup operation. The Barbados National Energy Company Limited's Group Health and Safety Manager, Damien Catlin, is reporting good progress.
We have cleared all of the drains on the southern side of the road. Those are almost fully cleared of sediment. We started the washdown process for those drains yesterday. That will continue again this afternoon. But what the guys have done, they've crossed the road and we are now working on the northern side of the road This side is a lot less compacted than the southern side was. We have also opened up manholes in the actual parking lot going north. When we opened those manholes, we saw that the drain itself is quite clean and dry, so that will facilitate a very easy washdown. So the only thing left for us to do now is this section of road on the northern side that the guys are working on currently, and then when they're complete, we'll have almost a final washdown, and then we will finally be out of the burst of the Oistins here.
Well, coming up, the Senate debates the amendments to the road traffic bill. Minister of Energy and Leader of Government Business in the Senate, Senator Lisa Cummins, insists the amendments to the road traffic bill that address tint are for the protection of the island's police service. Motorists have until September 1st before the new vehicle tint regulations take effect. The road traffic amendment bill also imposes fines of $500 on those with tints darker than the law allows. Minister Cummins says police have raised the issues of concern with the authorities.
What is being introduced now is a mechanism to measure what's dark from what is not, what is too dark and what is not. And the police came and they said, some of the vehicles that we have to approach, like the ones that I was talking about in the dead of the night when I was leaving one place to go to the next, and the police were saying something happening in a particular area, you may want to avoid that area. When we are home in our beds, in the safety of our beds, sleeping behind our wrought iron bars, and they're outside protecting us, some of these windows are too dark. And when we approach a vehicle in the dead of the night, worse yet, but it can happen in the day, we can't see what we are approaching. We have no idea what's on the inside.
Opposition Senator Andre Worrell says Barbadians are concerned about the crime problem and want more frontal policies that will tackle the escalating situation. He suggests the legislation is out of touch and should be reviewed.
When it was also introduced by the chief spokesperson for the government, they did a funny thing. I want money. Many Barbadians remember this. I want money. With the snapping of the hands and all, as though you are in a rum shop. I want money. That is what Barbadians remember when this piece of legislation was introduced as a crime-solving measure at a press conference dealing with the escalating increase in crime in Barbados. I want money. So you don't expect that Barbadians will take offense at it and see it as none other than a money grab?
Meantime, Independent Senator Dr. Crystal Drakes wants efforts made to tackle the breakdown of the family unit in Barbados. She notes there are too many households where parents are abdicating their responsibility for child rearing. Senator Drakes says government cannot address the problem alone.
They want the teachers to do it. They want the church to do it. They want the general society to do it. They want the government to do it. Not realizing it is their primary responsibility to instill the morals and the values in their children. There's some, yes, grow up in a household where the parents try their best and they empathize with those parents. But there are too many instances where parents are actually perpetuating the bad behavior in this country and then expecting somebody else to deal with it.
Sports Night is brought to you by Power Aid, Pause is Power, and by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after.
Well, Mark Seal is here with a look at sports. Hey, Mark.
Hi, very good evening to you. Two Barbadians are on the West Indies over-60s Masters cricket team set to tour England later this month, where they will compete for the prestigious Stonehill Cup. Former Barbados pacer Emerson Jordan and batter Keith Seal are again on the team which took part in the over-60s World Cup in India last year when they placed 5th. And they were also the Plate Cup winners. Now, this year's tour, which runs from June 15th to 27th, features fixtures against top-level opposition, including England Masters and England Lions.
Hospitality officials are in an upbeat mood. Visitor numbers and occupancy levels are up for the first quarter of this year, and the booking trajectory for the summer and winter is looking good. Chairman of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, BHTA, Javon Griffith, made the disclosure in his review of the 2024 to 2025 tourist season during the annual general meeting of the body at the Wyndham Grand Barbados Sam Lords Castle Resort today.
For the period January to April 2025, Barbados recorded an estimated 4.7% year-on-year increase in stayover arrivals, welcoming 296,520 visitors compared to 283,132 during the same period in 2024. The United States market continued its strong upward trajectory with 87,373 arrivals, a 13.4% increase over the 77,018 visitors recorded for January to April 2024.
The BHTA chairman told the audience of hoteliers and business officials the UK market was down. The Canadian market showed modest growth, but the experience was quite different for the European market.
Posted a robust 15.4% increase with 15,181 visitors compared to 13,157 in the prior year. The Caribbean market also demonstrated encouraging growth with 30,410 regional arrivals, up 9.1% year-on-year.
Despite fiscal tightening, inflation and climate shocks in 2024, the Caribbean Development Bank approved more than $303 million United States dollars in new projects. According to President Daniel Best, the bank made this critical move while many institutions are retrenching. The Caribbean Development Bank is stepping forward with resolve and results through strong partnerships with stakeholders. He was addressing the opening ceremony of the 55th annual meeting of the Board of Governors in Canada.
Among the highlights, a Euro 100 million water management and clean oceans framework loan from the European Investment Bank, helping countries from Barbados to Belize upgrade infrastructure, protect ecosystems, and link water security to economic opportunity. At the same time, our $58.5 million Canadian dollars surge program, backed by Canada, is powering a just and inclusive energy transition in the Caribbean, placing solar panels on schools, reducing emissions and expanding access to reliable power, green jobs and solutions for our people.
Sports Night is brought to you by Power In, Pause is Power, and by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after.
Mark Seal is back with another look at sports.
Indeed, as promised, starting with football, Barbados men's team ended their FIFA CONCACAF World Cup qualifying campaign without a win after losing their final game to St. Lucia last night in Aruba. The Tridents, as they've done in the last couple of games, opened the scoring, and early in the contest. It was only the 12th minute when Devontae Richards was left unmarked in the box as 6 St. Lucia defenders were caught ball watching. Richard received the pass and went far corner to beat the diving Lucian custodian, who seemed to be anticipating the shot to be going near post. Well, however, before the half, St. Lucia replied in the 42nd minute when Kenija Elva converted a penalty. Elva later got his brace and the winner in the 90th minute to give St. Lucia the 2-1 victory. The St. Lucians ended third in Group C on 4 points, while Barbados were at the bottom on 1 point from a draw and 3 losses. The winners are Curaçao, ending on 12 points from winning all 4 of their games. The CARICOM Strength Games, hosted by the Barbados Powerlifting and Strength Association, were completed recently at the grounds of the NUPW headquarters at Dalkeith St. Michael. 3 countries participated: Suriname, US Virgin Islands, and the hosts. The challenges included deadlifts, farmer's carry, shoulder presses, and tire flips, Raquel Doodler of Suriname took top honors in the men's section and was crowned CARICOM's strongest man, with Felicia Odan, also of Suriname, second, and Siobhan Welch-Cherry of Barbados, third. Now, Welch-Cherry was also the best in the Barbados strongman section, followed by Demario Taylor and Anthony Absalon. There were 5 entries for the women's section, 3 athletes from Suriname and 2 from Barbados. And once all the points were tallied, Kyla Cummins of Barbados took the top spot. Second was teammate Kia Thomas, while Maureen Babel of Suriname was third. Moving on now to basketball, where Providence stayed on course for a playoff berth when they visited Courage and Parry and left with a victory in their latest matchup of the NSC's secondary schools basketball competition. CBC's Damian Best reports.
Courage and Parry at their home base against Providence in red. Cruz Holford finds his spot from deep. Count it. Nathan Gill with the answer. Drives, mid-range jumper is good. Then Gill plays service provider Jamarco Small off the woodwork and in. But it was Providence who built on their first half advantage at 19-15 fast break, bucket and the foul. More offensive work from the visitors. Mason McGavin, right place under the cup, 2 of his 7 points. And as they say, sharing is caring. Mason again in prime real estate, add 2 more. CP trying to keep tabs on their opponents. Tough work indeed. In the end, though, it would be Providence to take home the spoils. Cyan Priyat, the lone female with the deep 2. Wonderful indeed as Providence win 39-31 over Courage and Parry.
Thanks, Damien. Brian, the Action Man Talma has wrapped up part of his 2025 Waterman Water Woman Festival at Silver Sands Beach in Christchurch. The event featured a retreat as well as action water sports coaching in windsurfing, surfing, kiteboarding, winging, and stand-up paddling. It's all part of Talma's Global Organic Tourism Master Plan that focuses on health, community, education, sports, culture, and the environment. Talma closed out the session by presenting pieces of art to a number of participants who came from North America and Europe.
Everybody showed up and were persistent, and that's what I'm doing here today, and being persistent because June is one of our windiest months in Barbados and the best for action water sports. So you know we're doing foiling, windsurfing, kitesurfing, paddle surfing, and surfing. And everybody participated, and this is a 2-month program I'm doing, and everybody came in kind of organically. Cynthia, she came in, she's like, Brian, I'm showing up, I'm doing the camp. She didn't know there was camp, but she showed up. Ben emailed me and said, Brian, I'm coming on my honeymoon, I want to do, Emily wants to do foiling, and I want to do windsurfing. And y'all just came here and wanted a beer one day, and I gave you 2 beers, and you came back, and you're doing windsurf, you're doing surfing, and kite surfing. The way the Beach Culture World Tour is really about humanity. Who has the most fun wins, but also contributes to humanity. And when I mean humanity is how we treat one another. Don't matter how good we are, how much money we have, and that's why I have this whole Global Organic Tourism Master Plan, which I created.
And that's news. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. On behalf of the entire crew, do enjoy the rest of your night.